only on Local 5. We take you inside this medical cannabis facility in Colorado. This is the operation in Colorado that our state will be modeled after. It'll be grown, processed, and turned into medicine here in Iowa by December, the end of this year. We're the only TV station that has ever gotten this in-depth of access. But it's not the process that got lawmakers in Iowa to make cannabis legal here.
It's how it has changed the lives of so many across the country. Local 5's Sabrina Ahmed introduces us to one of those patients.
I'm going to introduce you to Colton Turner in just a minute, but first I want to tell you about a problem with medical marijuana. Right now it's a Schedule I narcotic on a federal level. That means scientists cannot perform research on it to know if it's safe and effective. But once you meet Colton, you might understand why legislators at a state level are legalizing it anyway.
Before cannabis, I was basically in my deathbed writing my own will.
Colton Turner's story is one of the thousands of stories people who work in Colorado's cannabis industry have heard.
These people are having to move from state to state, take their children or take themselves from state to state, become refugees in essence, in order to receive this medication.
I have Crohn's disease, rheumatoid arthritis, and lupus.
A teen whose family moved from Illinois to Colorado as a last resort. Diagnosed at 12 years old, Colton had tried just about every medication possible.
Gave me moon face. My face was completely round, completely swollen, and that was just one of the side effects.
His lupus and rheumatoid arthritis are actually side effects of one of his meds. Confined to a wheelchair, his parents knew it was time to completely change their thinking.
And we found a study in Israel that said 9 out of 11 Crohn's patients that smoked cannabis achieved remission, and the other 2 gained complete symptom relief.
The only place to get it, Colorado.
I have to put him in a car where he is, he's so fragile. He's in a wheelchair. We don't know if he's going to make it. And ship him off 14 hours away or 13 hours away.
The transformation was almost immediate and miraculous.
The first time I saw him out of his wheelchair, he had walked up the hill and he was standing there while I pulled up, and ooh, it was hard. It was awesome. It was awesome.
From a disease that has no cure, Colton was symptom-free, and the tests prove it.
Complete clinical remission.
Crohn's disease is one of the many eligible ailments on the list in Iowa, along with Parkinson's disease, cancer, multiple sclerosis, seizures, AIDS or HIV, ALS, as well as most terminal illnesses that involve a life expectancy of less than 1 year and untreatable pain. Colton gets his medicine from places like Medicine Man. This is a multi-million-dollar dispensary, one of the 3 Medicine Man locations in Denver.
$131.55.
Matt Benton works here. He's not a scientist, not a doctor, but he recommends the products patients take home.
People come in with chronic arthritis or hip pain, back pain, a lot of patients like that, and then cancer patients.
They have a 40,000 square foot growing facility.
So 1 tray is 1 plant's worth of bud.
Sally Vanderveer owns the company with her family.
When I heard about medical marijuana before we got into the business, I thought it was people's excuse as to how they could use marijuana legally. And then I very quickly learned how wrong I was.
All the plant flower they sell is grown in their own facilities. You won't see any of this in Iowa. Instead, you'll see stuff coming out of a lab, like this.
Supercritical CO2 coming into these extractor vessels where ground up plant material has been preloaded.
MedFarm Colorado is very different than Medicine Man.
We can then take these different components, calculate a therapeutic dose that we want, and then combine them to the exact numbers.
This is what's coming to Iowa. They'll still have growing rooms where the environments are controlled, but once the plant is dried, cannabinoids are extracted using a similar process to how decaf coffee is made. It'll then be purified using ethanol and taken into a lab for testing.
It's just giving us more information to make better product and more specific therapeutic forms.
Then it'll be made into things like patches, oils, suppositories. The facility in Iowa will look the exact same as MedFarm Colorado. The product will be different because of Iowa law that limits the amount of THC. To give you an idea of what that means, Colton takes a cannabis oil pill that has a 1-to-1 THC to CBD ratio.
That ratio of THC to CBD really determines what's going to happen with that particular strain.
There are more than 100 active ingredients in the plant, known as cannabinoids, and those are the two most well known. CBD has some benefits like pain relief, curbing nausea, and helping reduce inflammation. THC, which is the psychoactive component and can make a person feel high, has different benefits like relaxation, appetite stimulation, and pain relief. When you combine the two together, the benefits change and increase. It's called the entourage effect. In Iowa, not all combinations will be possible.
If a patient needs 100 milligrams of THC right now, they're going to be limited on how to get that 100 milligrams.
MedPharm Colorado's director of formulation development says it can also get really expensive.
If I could make 4 30 milligram capsules, it's going to be a lot less expensive than 12 10 milligram capsules.
Iowa lawmakers say the limit on THC is because human research doesn't exist.
But we've kind of got the cart before the horse here.
Dr. Richard Deming is a cancer doctor in Des Moines. He says the anecdotal evidence might be strong for medical marijuana, but when you're dealing with a cancer patient, if making big claims, research needs to back it up.
I'm very open-minded, and I also will help advocate for federal law that allows the true clinical trials that will prove the benefits and the side effects.
Colton and his family are advocating for medical cannabis across the country for similar reasons.
The side effects are hunger and sleep. And when you have a kid that has Crohn's disease, you want them to eat and you want them to sleep. I've seen him high on morphine, and I've seen him high on Oxycontin and Dilaudid. And that is so much worse than the high that cannabis would ever give him.
Dr. Deming is also concerned about current Iowa law. Right now, it's legislators deciding the ailments and the dosages allowed. He thinks medical professionals should make that decision. There is a bill going through the State House right now that would put that decision in the hands of the Medical Cannabidiol Board. Of course, we'll keep you posted on where that goes. With Chief Photographer Don Schmidt, I'm Sabrina Ahmed, Local 5 News. We are Iowa.
And if you would like to see more in-depth exclusive access to MedPharm Colorado and hear the effect legalization of marijuana there has had on that state's budget crisis, we'll air a half-hour special on Sunday, March 11th on This Week in Iowa right here on Local 5.